You're listening to Season 1, Episode 3 of the Gate 2 podcast.
So we're all in the ballot for Barnsley, yeah?
Ballot.
We're back.
Just about.
I got there in the end.
Bit of a scare.
Sorted my season ticket out on online.
Clarky jumped again and applied for
I might be more nervous about getting a ticket than the actual game.
And me.
It's nice to have us all back together for the first time in forever.
Yeah, I know.
We've had more time off than Jimmy Savile's moral.
I don't miss fucking Zoom, to be honest.
No.
Yeah.
It's good to be back.
But yeah, Barnsley boys, first leg, Monday, Oakwell.
It's who if you had to pick, it's who I would have chosen to play.
Everyone said that.
But they've had some good results going into it.
Don't Barnsley play a very high pressing game?
They do, but then we beat them twice this season as well. I think you wouldn't want to choose Bournemouth. We were useless against Bournemouth twice.
Bournemouth have been a bogey team for us
for a long time.
Years.
We were useless the second time against Brentford at home.
No, Brentford are favourites.
Brentford.
Against us, right, sorry, yeah. I can see that.
That doesn't surprise me.
That doesn't surprise me either.
They formed second half of the season's better than ours. So.
Yeah.
Don't know what we're going to get to with us. If we play well, then I've got no qualms. If we play well, I have a chance of winning. If we don't play very well, then it's going to be a long 180 minutes again.
What do you think he's going to do with the shape of the team? Because we had that change to me earlier in the season, and it worked.
Well, we started this year with a 5 at the back, with the 2 wing backs, because he changed it. The
previous season, yeah.
But he's obviously reverted back to type now as well. So I don't really know. Last year's playoffs, you knew we were going to play the 5 at the back, but this year I don't really know.
It's one of them, and the change of shape worked for us until. Same with anything, I guess. Until we've had it for too long and teams started sussing us out again.
Yeah, we got stagnant, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So,
we started conceding more as well.
Yeah.
And that was always our strength, was the defensive.
The 5 in the back give us that solidity, and
yeah.
We had a lot of 1-0 wins
and it became
poor score draws, and
with 5 in the back and 2 up front, it became a lot easier to accommodate Andre Ayew.
Yeah.
As where in Andre Ayew in a front 3, I don't think was ideal.
No.
Because where do you put him in that? You put him wide right, whereby alright, he cuts inside, and against poorer teams he was having a lot of joy. He hasn't got the pace to get in behind. It's never been his game. And as a striker, he would always play more as a false 9, which didn't really suit us. I don't think we had the quality of goal scoring wingers to go beyond him. We didn't have the goal scoring midfielders to go beyond him and get a goal.
I think that's when we played the 2 up top. I think we benefited. The times when Lowe played well and the streaks he had, we were playing well. We were a good team because he'd go in behind, he'd stretch teams, and we'd look a bit more dangerous. The games when Lowe has been poor, and there's been, he's had 2 or 3 cycles in here where he's been poor for a while, a long while.
Strange cycles he goes through.
But he's very streaky. But he's streaky, and I think when Lowe plays well up top with Ayew has a chance of playing well and scoring. But like I said, I don't fancy my chances massively with Ayew leading the line on his own.
So what were the results against Barnsley this year?
2-0.
2-0.
Yeah. I don't remember the home game. I remember the away game.
To be honest, I remember very little of the season, and I think we've spoken about it before. I find it really difficult. Yeah, and I find it really difficult to focus on games that are played in empty stadiums.
I found it hard as the season's gone on to engage myself.
I enjoyed the FA Cup final, 20,000 in the stadium, a bit of noise coming. It was the first game in a long time that I wasn't there just on my phone, enjoying Twitter more than the actual game. So that was refreshing.
Having the fans back in yesterday for that FA Cup final as well, it brought in a lot of emotion for a lot of people. Yeah. People watching it on TV, that atmosphere's back. The people that are there, obviously, they.
But a commentator on BT Sport alluded to it. He said he got quite emotional when the teams came out to
that's what I was going to say.
The fans were applauding him.
It was that genuine noise when the teams were coming out to the start of the game. It was that actual noise of.
But you remember the early days? Do you remember the early days of fake crowd noise? The timing was terrible. It'd blast one over the bar. It'd cut to the player walking away from the shot to get back into position, and it'd go, oh!
Do you know what it sounds like? You know, sometimes at the Liberty, you get in all stadiums where the opposition go close and the away fans go, oh, and then for the rest of the game you take the mic and go, no!
It was like a shit.
People sound good at taking the mic.
It was like a shit PlayStation 1 football game that wasn't FIFA or Pre.
The accountants call it the £90 million match, but for these 22 players it's about the chance to perform at the top of their profession. It's a season in a day, 9 months in 90 minutes. Dyer, good turn, and still, how about it? Phil Dowd says yes! Kazanishvili on Dyer, penalty kick. Scott Sinclair against Adam Federici. 1-0, Swansea in front, but here comes Swansea again. Barini in the middle looking for the callback from Dobby. It's Sinclair, it's 2! Dyer. Kazanishvili away, chance, it's 3, it's Dobby! And it might be all over before half-time. Back enough for the corner. Flick on, it's in! It's Hunt! Enough. Free header, it's in! It's in! It's 3-2! And it's the skipper, Matt Mills! One back by McEnough. Into Shane Long. Long playing it off to Jem Karachan, shooting Jet off the post! It must be! Hunt, it's blocked brilliantly! Monk got in the way, I don't know how! Tate forward here. Tate looking for Barini. Griffin's challenge, it's a penalty! And Reading Storm just might have been blown out. Scott Sinclair for Swansea City, who are back on the brink of the Premier League. It's 4-2. And the celebrations begin. Swansea City are in the top flight for the first time since 1983.
How do we think we're going to do then, boys? Obviously Barnsley first, potentially Brentford, Bournemouth. Out of the 4, how do you rate their chances?
I don't rate their chances highly at all, to be honest.
No, me neither.
I don't know whether it's because we have a chance of going to one of the games and fingers crossed, Wembley. I don't know, maybe it's because we haven't seen football for so long now. I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm just enjoying the fact that our season's extended beyond the 46 games.
You mean like when
if we go up, great. If not, fucking get to see a bit of football.
It's great to be one of the 2 Welsh clubs that are actually going to have some fans in the stadium.
Yeah. I mean, it was only ever going to be us 2, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah,
we do it for big clubs.
I mean, they threatened for a while, didn't they? But I mean, they're going to make McCarthy in charge, for fuck's sake.
They remember Mick McCarthy was in charge after a while.
I think, you know, if we had early season Swansea going into the game, right, I'd be absolutely fearless. Because when we were in that early season real purple patch, I genuinely expected us to win every game. I wasn't even hopeful. I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, right, how much are we going to win by today?
We played with intent.
Oh, it was brilliant. You know, it was. Well, I couldn't criticise. But second half of the season, Swansea. Now I'm just like, are we going to scrape the draw? Do you know what I mean?
The shackles are back on,
yeah.
And a lot of the season's gone on.
Like, I don't know you, I found myself saying all the fucking cliches to myself as well. Oh, it's a one-off tournament now, it's a mini tournament, anything can happen. The form goes out the window, and it's like, it fucking doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
It doesn't.
The other thing I think is that we have rested a few players, I believe.
But they're obviously
I think Barnsley would have perhaps done that.
All 4 clubs qualified. All 4 clubs secure the playoff spots quite early. I think for me, I go back. I think it's intent. I think if we go out and we go with the intention of winning games against Barnsley, then 100% they'd back us to win. Okay, I think we're a better team if we play as well as we can. But my fear is we'll go there. We'll try and sit back. We'll try and play for a draw or maybe scrape a 1-goal lead.
That's
how I think it will happen. Well, I hope.
Have Barnsley got fans?
Yeah, same as 3,000, I think.
Right, okay.
If we get to the final, would you consider it to be a bigger game in the club's history than the 2011 final, and if so, why?
I think financially, from the statement that was out not long ago, yes, I think this is a bigger game. I think the fact that financially we're regressing as a club at the moment, it obviously elevated us to levels we didn't think we'd see when we went up last time. But I think this is more important in terms of securing money for the club.
COVID's had a massive impact on that.
Boys, and not to sound negative, right? You know, if we went up and we done a Norwich and we hardly spent any money and we came back down,
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I'd be fine, because for the safety of the club, and we come back down with something in our pockets, and we've got a pot to piss in.
It's almost like a case of when we went up in 2011. You know, it was a time where we hadn't secured fully the new training ground. We didn't have this sort of. It's like we stand to lose stuff now that we never had back then anyway, if that makes sense. So yeah, for me, I think if we got the final this year, it'd be far more important.
No, we've got accustomed to a security and a style of play, and that's at risk. You know, for the last few seasons in the Championship, that's been at risk of going, are we going to be fighting relegation this year? Are we going to be lucky to be mid-table? What side are we going to put out?
And even right through the club to the academy, you know, think, right, can we get up? There's 3 million a year to run Category A status academy again, which
can
is
we
the lifeblood of the, it's been the lifeblood of the club for the last couple of years, and fucking hell, lo and behold, perhaps we can keep a few of the academy products then going forward if we're in the Premier League.
But I think that's the other problem you've got, boys, is you look at that Category A academy and the people it's brought through, the sellable assets have pretty much gone.
Well, who've we got now?
Robert.
Ben Cabango, for all his early promise, clearly has a long way to go.
Yeah, he's not in the same category yet as Joe Rodon. I love Connor Roberts, but I wouldn't want to lose Connor Roberts.
No.
For what it's worth, that's the last of them. You've got Fulton and some good players, but they're not. These are not 20 million.
No, they're not going to go for
Dan
it.
James,
If you use Jay Fulton as an example, he's a steady Championship player.
He's massively
who perhaps
he's a cracking
who perhaps could hold his own,
in
the Premier League at a sort of bottom half table club. He's not going to go for mega bucks, nor is he going to go to a club that's a massive jump from us anyway. So yeah, like you said, there's no real sellable assets coming through. So
I know it's a big if, boys.
Do or die, innit?
Barnsley is not it's not a gimme. It's an hard game, boys. But if we do get there, who would you prefer in the final?
Brentford.
Because we're not great against either, but I'd go Brentford as well.
King Bottlers.
Yeah,
King Bottlers.
Yeah, 100%.
Bottlers,
very erratic.
To be honest, I fancy Bournemouth only because I think Brentford would have taken a lot from last year's final, and I don't think they'll repeat the mistake. I don't
know. The part of me thinks, right, if they'd really learned from last year's final and had progressed as a team, they'd have been in the automatics.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, because they've done the same this year where they've fallen away, silly defeats.
Yeah, I mean in terms of the one-off occasion.
Do you know what I would say, boys? Whoever we get, right, Brentford and Bournemouth, and Barnsley for that matter, Bournemouth and Brentford, we've got a poor record against. We're not great against either. The 2 games against Bournemouth we were poor. The home game against Brentford we were awful. Away to Brentford we were superb at the start of the season when we were playing well. But ultimately, you kind of put those clubs sometimes on a pedestal. And I've seen Bournemouth and Brentford sometimes, they've been absolutely tripe.
We beat them last
awful.
season.
Stoke beat Bournemouth last game of the season at Bournemouth. Do you mean, because I thought we'd get Bournemouth in the playoffs? I thought, looking at those fixtures, I thought Barnsley would finish 6th, because Bournemouth had to give me a home, and so it's just what I think. If Brentford or Bournemouth turn up, then whoever wins that semi-final will go up if they play as well as they should, as well as they can. But if they don't, then hopefully we're the ones to capitalise.
Like you said, I think whoever reaches the final from that tie will clearly be the favourites.
I think the difference between this year and last year as well, right, is last year, I think, for me personally, I placed a lot more expectation on the team. I genuinely felt last year was the season that we were going to do it. This season, mentally, I've written us off completely. And it's basically anything's a bonus. In my mind, we're in the Championship this season.
To be honest, that's always been my fucking thinking anyway. Fucking hell, expect little and be pleasantly surprised. It's
the hope, isn't it? Your expectations going to be like the chance.
It's going to go one or two ways, isn't it, for the club? Like we're going to be by some miracle playing Premier League football and enjoying it for £99 fucking pound next year. Or
I don't know whether we're enjoying it.
Or I think we're going to be enjoying the team to visit. Let's say. Or we're going to be watching us fucking struggle mid-table at best, I think, next season. I don't think we'll have.
No,
I don't think we'll have the pull for players that we've had previously,
We won't.
both financially and our status as a club.
And that is what it is. You know, it's coming down from the Premiership, the money we've lost. It's kind of understandable. It's gutting. But what I would say, and I think Cooper's got a problem next year if we don't go up. Because I think the way Cooper's gone about the business in terms of how we play, I love Cooper. You know, I've always been a big fan. But the criticism you can't help is that the football sometimes is dour.
Yeah.
Now, when you're getting results and you're up the right end of the league, you get away with that. If you're 9th, 10th in the league and you're not playing good football as well with it,
No.
it's difficult. You don't get away with it. You know, you've either got to release the shackles and we've got to be more progressive in how we play. Because if we are 8th or 9th next year, people will be lynching him to go. Because and
players,
no entertainment, you know,
especially players that come from clubs that are loaning them out for their development, they look at things like, they would have looked at Swansea and thought, like, they've been down now 2 or 3 seasons, they're still in that bracket of clubs that have a chance of challenging going up. If we're in our 4th year out of the Premier League with no parachute payments, you know, with little resource, you know, having failed to go up in our past 3 seasons, clubs are going to go, right, are they as upwardly mobile a club as they previously have been? Do we send our player there?
This is where now, and financially now, this is a real pivotal moment for the club. And the short version of what's come out about the finances, for those that are listening that aren't really aware, is the club completely relies on sellable assets to stay solvent. The wage bill is still way too high. And people will ask, well, where the hell's it going? But it's still nearly £40 million a year, which is insane in the Championship. Then you've got you know, the academy is now being downgraded, which will cut some running costs, but it's still a world-class facility, and it's still going to be expensive regardless. But the sellable assets thing, and Ali touched on this earlier. All right, there's Connor Roberts, but nobody wants to see Connor Roberts go. And in all honesty, unless something really special comes along, does he want to go? We don't know. Only he can answer that. But besides that, we've only got maybe a bunch of players that are worth somewhere between 5 and 10 million at a push.
Yeah.
If Joe Rodon only goes for 12, then what the hell is everybody else worth? And then, so we could potentially be in dire straits financially if we don't go up. Now, the Americans have brought in Silverstein, who seems to be very ambitious. He's put his hand in his pocket. Yes, some of that's gone towards fan incentives, like, you know, this playoff semi-final being free for those in the ballot, £99 season tickets next season, all of these things. But again, because of the losses as well, because of COVID, that's kept us sort of solvent. Yeah, but that's not a sustainable financial model. So if we stay down next season, expect massive cuts all over the place. And yes, the likelihood is, without some sort of sheer miracle, I think anything beyond mid-table is unrealistic. Especially with the pragmatic style of play that we've had, where we're grinding out 1-0s and 0-0s, and
it's difficult to watch, doesn't it?
It is.
You need both to go up to you need an ability, like I said, perhaps in a previous episode, no one team has gone up automatically or otherwise without an ability to grind results.
100%.
Absolutely.
But that can't be your sole way of winning games.
Yeah.
I think the problem is when it, with us, it's certainly the last half of the season, it's become our go-to. We haven't been fluid, we haven't played good football, and I always said, and I mentioned earlier, I think you've got to be 2 things as a football manager to survive. You've either got to be successful, or you've got to provide entertainment, and you can have both. But if you have neither, then I want to go on a weekend and I want to be entertained. And under Potter, I think people seem to forget under Potter that it was not always as great. We had a good end of season run which elevated our position. So position on the table wasn't always fantastic, but the entertainment value and the application to how we play was always there. You always knew you were going to turn up and you might lose the timing, but you play well.
Yeah, the timing of that was great as well, because our relegation season was absolutely horrendous. So, and I think a lot of supporters, myself included, thought that decline would continue into our first season back in the Championship, and Potter sort of stopped that from happening.
The last 3 years in the Premiership, we reverted to be like every other team in the Premiership, which was safe, stable, try and get enough points, try and win set pieces.
Yeah, it's just survival.
And that became our go-to. And all of a sudden, the players we bought were brought in to achieve that as well. And the ones we brought in to try and play football, your Rocky Messers and stuff, were never going to work because we'd become a team who were Gylfi Sigurdsson set piece. Ultimately. So yeah, I'm a bit dreading next year. But there's about a 20 million gap they've got to plug.
Thereabouts, the budgetary deficit for next season is going to be around about the 20 million. So that's basically
Ayew's 5 million.
Well, minimum of 5, anywhere up to 7.5. Yeah. So that's instantly.
But he's still 15 million, and that's without replacing him. Because I know, we'll discuss Ayew in a bit, but he's one of our better players. If he's not done as much as maybe he should, and maybe his legs are gone, I know we'll discuss that. But ultimately, we haven't got many other options. You've still got to provide something in place of him, and we don't have that money.
Well, some of the potential cuts you're looking at, right? Obviously, Ayew is somewhere between £5 and £7.5 million a season in wages, signing on fees, goal bonuses, appearance fees, whatever clauses he's got in his contract. You're looking at somewhere between 5 and 7.5. That's a big jump, but that's still going to leave us somewhere between 12.5 and £15 million budgetary deficit. Yeah, exactly. And then now, are they going to start asking players to take pay cuts? I highly doubt it. Then you look, right, the academy's already been downgraded. Could it potentially be sold off? And I personally think that it has been our lifeblood. Yeah. But could it potentially be sold off? Maybe, but selling it will be very difficult in its current format, because there's only going to be a very, 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 very small audience that will be interested in that facility in its current format. So then you think, right, well, the land value, if the club owns the land, they may lease it, I'm not sure, but if they own the land, all right, the land value, but you're talking really peanuts. It's absolute peanuts in the grand scheme of things. And again, you lose that potential revenue stream that's kept us afloat of sellable assets. So I don't know, it's potentially grim. But again, could the Americans go, right, you know what, we'll do the same as last season, we'll plug the gap, we may even put a little bit extra in for a promotion push. I don't know, obviously in dreamland there, but there's been no evidence so far to suggest that they would put extra money in for a push. Obviously there's financial fair play to contend with as well.
What I would say about the Americans is that it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if they plugged the gap. I don't expect owners personally to put their own money into for extra, if that makes sense, because it's got to be a sustainable business. So I've never got problems with that. I do think we feel like a much better run club over the last 18-24 months.
Absolutely.
And I stuck up from the wrong word, but I think they made a lot of early mistakes coincided with us going down. I think they've learned lessons.
Lots of supporters will never see past the early mistakes. That's whether
trust scores.
And it comes down to your type of character as a person. A lot of people you want regain that trust, and no matter how much you put into the club. They'll be defined by those early mistakes for a lot of people.
A lot of people jump on a bandwagon as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is a shame, really, because no one else is going to fucking plug our gap.
No,
do you know
absolutely
what I mean?
not. No.
So it comes a point where you have to think, right, okay, mistakes were made early on, but we need them now. Do you know what I mean?
And this season, when it really was needed, they did the right thing.
Yeah. Guys, I've got to give them some credit. I think they had such a heavy role in running the club when it was the two of them, and Perlman was the chief executive at the time, or whatever his role was at the time.
The COO.
Yeah, the COO, and you still had Hugh Jenkins on the board at the time up until the Dan James debacle, and there was a lot of friction there. But I think since Jenkins went, they appointed Birch, and they seem to take a back step. And they've appointed Julian Winter, who touched wood so far seems to have done a very good job.
Can't fault him.
And they've, a lot of the fan initiatives, the price for next season, the fact that after losing so much money, they're giving away these tickets, and the clubs, aren't being so generous. It's welcome back, here's £35 a ticket. And I've got a lot of credit. They do seem to be making positive steps. But like I said, the financial situation, regardless, is poor, and it's been poor since our last few years in the Premiership, where it's been on a downturn.
spoke about his wages. I think everyone spoke about his wages, didn't he? Gone. Whether we do you think he'll stay if
Well, I
we
was
go
going
up?
to say, gone if we don't go up. I don't know whether we do go up, and it might sound really bad. Even if we do go up, I don't think it'd be the end of the world.
Do you know if we went up? Like I think the club are well within their right to offer him reduced terms.
Yeah.
Because right, what is he? 4 years older than when we
30
signed him?
32?
I think they would do what you just said.
Is he the same
Reduced
player?
He's not the same player as the player who signed that contract.
Because
you know,
he does like
signed that
Swansea, doesn't he?
contract.
As from what I've gathered.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think he'd be keen to stay.
Yeah.
I think he wouldn't get.
No.
I don't think any other Premiership team would be coming in for him.
No, I think he's off to the Middle East.
Yeah.
So I think he'd be keen to stay.
But if we go up though, maybe he won't
whether
go
he'd
Middle
stay
East.
on reduced terms is another question
I think
altogether.
for what it's worth, I wouldn't be surprised to see him somewhere in the Middle East, because I'm not saying it's all about money, but I've seen some interviews with him. He speaks quite well about it. You know, he funds a lot of things, and he's quite generous with his money. And he comes from somewhere. You know, obviously from Ghana. I know his father's football stuff, but he does a lot of social stuff there. And I think if he had the opportunity to go and earn big bucks in the Middle East, I don't think we're going to offer that, because I don't think
We can't.
I don't think even if we go up,
I don't think we
wouldn't
match
justify
what he's
the
on
current pay
now.
packet. So like you said, I'd expect reduced terms, and you know, if he stayed, I wouldn't be disappointed if he stayed, but I also wouldn't be too downhearted if.
I mean, we've lost. We have a history, especially recently, of losing our talisman, so to speak, and being
Van der
fine
Horn.
after it.
Van der Horn was the last biggest one.
You know, Trundle went, we were fine.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's world ended when Trundle went, and we were fine.
Crazy.
Wasn't long. You know, we were getting promoted after it.
Same season.
You know,
Yeah.
Sigurdsson went first time round. We were fine.
McBurney.
Yeah,
More recently as well.
it happens. So,
Dan James.
but it would
Mitchell.
be a shame to see him go. I like him. I know we're quite divided on him.
I like him.
I like
don't
him.
love him, and I do think he provides a problem. My concern is we're very loyal to him in the Championship. Even when he doesn't play well, it really affects us. Now, when he does play well, he does come up trumps as well. So I've got to give him that in his due. My concern is if we do go up and we're that loyal to him, we could really suffer.
And when I think the
yeah.
Premiership differs though, is I've watched Andre Ayew play poor game in our league, and obviously we debate him every match. And then score.
Let's go.
Or assist.
Yeah.
I don't, can he do that in a Premiership? Can he play badly and still score and assist? Because it's a fucking level up.
I think there's in the Premier League. If we were to go up and let's say he stayed on whatever terms, the Prem might suit him a bit more. And the reason I say that is because the pressing, apart from against the odd team, your Leicesters and that, the pressing isn't so intense. You get more time and space on the ball in the Premier League than you do in the Championship.
You do get more teams who come and sit back.
Exactly. And the difference, like in the Championship, a lot of clubs will put 2 or 3 men on him. And so they just completely remove him out of the game. In the Premier League, are they going to be all that fussed about Andre Ayew versus when you got the likes of bloody Kevin De Bruyne, all these mega stars?
Yeah,
they are going to be all that fussed about him? No, they're not. So that extra bit of freedom might go in his favour. But personally, and I'm going to go into sort of the other camp, I respect him. I like him. I think he's probably, I'd imagine him to be a likeable guy. On his day when he plays well for us, he's unbelievable. But I think it doesn't justify all of the sort of this worshipping that he gets. And he gets this free pass, and even when he's had a bad game, God forbid you criticise him. You got most of bloody the social media will all turn on you.
Maybe that says more about Cooper than Ayew, though.
And our fans.
His wage is not his fault, right? His wage is not his fault. He's come down from the Premiership with those wages, and it was a bad deal for the club put in place. But ultimately, I look at him. Do I think we get 3 times, 4 times as much from him as we do from other players?
He's had interest as well.
That's what we pay him.
Well, you're saying about the wages there as well, right? And this whole narrative that, particularly on Sky Sports, that they've been going on about, and it's irritated me. This whole narrative that people have bought into that, he stayed with us, because he wants to help us get back up, as if we're not worthy of having him. And it's like, hang on, no, it's bollocks. he stayed with us because he's getting 85 grand a week and nobody else are fucking stupid enough to pay him 85 grand a week when he's now not at that level.
Absolutely. It goes back to my point. His wage isn't his fault. I've got no problem with it whatsoever. But what it does cause him a problem. Because if he goes elsewhere, people are not prepared to pay that for a player who's not the same player as he was when he signed that contract. So I'm not saying he stayed outside the pit here and there. Ultimately, what I've said from day one is whether he's on 20 grand a week or he's on 80 grand a week, it doesn't matter. What you want is someone knuckling down. And where I've got complete respect for him is that he's knuckled down, he works as hard as anyone, there's no real ego there. He's part of the squad and I love him for that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and people, media outlets, supporters, they need to realise that Fenerbahce was his out of Swansea.
Yeah.
That was his opportunity to protect his status as not an elite footballer, but a top level footballer who could earn that bracket of wages going forward in other deals. Mm-hmm. And he would have no doubt had his eye on a permanent contract in Fenerbahce, and it going well. It didn't go well, he didn't play well for whatever reason. He came back, and let's not forget, his agent would have been working tirelessly at that time to get him another move out of the club. It's no coincidence, and again I credit him with it to a degree, but it's his job to knuckle down. I don't think we should be criticising players that don't do that in that situation, not the praising the players that do, because that's what you're paying him £85,000.
Without sounding like Roy Keane, without sounding like Roy Keane. But he said himself, he feels insulted when people criticise his work rate because it's my job. My job is to work hard, I get paid to do that. What I would say, like I said, I don't like praising him for working hard, Ayew, but you do see people...
It was a pleasant surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a surprise. And that says more about others. We've all seen the Jack Rodwells, etc. And
yeah, of course.
And I think you could have had one of those situations on your hand, and we haven't, and he has contributed.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, as well, going back to the money side of things, if he'd have just come out and said, I stayed for the money, I'd respect him more. Yeah. I would genuinely. Don't get me wrong. It's morally, it's morally questionable.
I would imagine any football player who is that honest a man is also terrified of the repercussions of saying something like that.
Yeah, but I would genuinely respect him more, even though, like I said, morally it's questionable. But hang on, at the end of the day, he's just taken a job. If you put it into our world, let's say one of you or any of us got promoted and they said, right, we're going to quadruple your wages and we're going to half your workload or something crazy like that, you're going to go, absolutely. You're not going to say no because that's morally questionable. You're just going to do it. So that's why I would respect him for his honesty.
We put footballers on a pedestal. We do it because it's something we all love so much. But we do forget, ultimately, it's your income, it's what you're doing. There was... Gareth Bale a few years ago in Madrid, and everyone saying, you should leave. He was being paid 600 grand a week, and people were saying he should take half a pay cut to the UK, get taxed 50%, and it worked out over the remainder of his contract, he would have lost something like £62 million after tax. What rightful person would sacrifice £62 million over a 3-year period?
I wouldn't.
And when you talk about football, it's like, but you've got to do it because it's football. No, and I'm not saying he's losing 62 million on Ayew, don't get me wrong, but ultimately the principle remains. It's not his fault that Swans have offered him a package worth 25 million over 4.5 years. And it's not his fault that 2.5, 3 years through we got relegated, and now we want to say, do you know what, go elsewhere and you can lose now £6-7 million we promise.
We're going to lose him at one point to a French team.
If Aaron was offered better snacks to go and talk on the Ambition is Critical podcast, we wouldn't be able to compete, and you'd go like.
I haven't got enough Stone Island to go on there. I've only got one jumper.
So Ayew. I agree with Aaron. I think it'll never happen. But I think if a player comes out and says, look, I'm here because the wage packet is like nothing I'll get anywhere else. But whilst I'm here, I'll work my ass off for the club.
And I'd be fine with that. I would be absolutely fine with that.
And do you know what? It's surprising. It's surprising the more players don't think like that, because what that would do then is it would instantly douse the flames of those who want to throw his wage in his face every time he misperforms.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Because he set the stall out early and said, that's what I earn. Of course I'm going to stick around and pick up that paycheck. But don't be foolish enough to think that I fucking A, sit on all that money myself without doing any good with it, and B, won't work hard for it.
The other side of me, right, that I've been very, very vocally sort of critical of Ayew this season. And again, it's not because I dislike him or anything like that. One of the big things, well, wages has come into it, right, and partially tied in with this pedestal that he's on with the fans. You know, if he's got this godlike status, then I want to see godlike performances. Additionally, then, his playing style as an individual, I think, just pulls us out of shape.
Slows us down.
It does. It slows us down, but it pulls us out of shape as well, because he'll go walkies anywhere all over the pitch. And then when we are looking for an outlet for a counter attack, because predominantly that's been our way of playing this season, you know, sort of sit back and then hit them on the break. He's either nowhere to be seen or he doesn't have the pace to get in behind.
That's what I think. You worked, like we said earlier. That's why I think it worked better for him in the front two.
Yeah,
because you can say to one striker, right, you go behind, work the channels, Andre, do what the fuck you want, but when that ball is in the box, you need to be there or thereabouts.
Exactly. Yeah.
As where if he was a lone striker, impossible, couldn't do it then, and if he was a winger, like I said, he was always going to cut inside. He scored
some good goals, and some of his play has been very good. But like I said, it's not fast play. It's not quick transition, is it? That part of his game was gone. I remember seeing, do you all remember the goal against Sunderland? We got beat 4-2 in our relegation game. Ball's pinged out to him by the keeper. He's taken the ball on the side, side of the pitch. He's run half length of the field and scored. He hasn't got that in him anymore. Yeah. And we play in that game. He does cause us a problem, but we probably cause him a bit of a problem as well, because we play so far back that we're not really close to him to work the ball through there.
I actually expected to see more headed goals off him, especially these last two seasons when a lot of our sort of balls into the box have been from out wide, typical sort of just bog standard crosses.
He did, didn't he? The first season he came back for us.
Yeah, and then he did. He put a few headers in for West Ham as well. And it was one of his sort of trademark sort of finishes with his head, and he is good in the air defensively. He's cleared loads of balls with his head, and then I get frustrated. Then I'm going, well, why isn't he doing it the other bloody end? And that's what, again, it's little things like that's why I've been so critical about, because when he's got that godlike status, I want to see performances week in, week out as a talisman to back it up.
I agree.
Give it to me. We're all alone, we're all bastard sons, being cast aside by the world above. We practice dark arts and open casket love. We cover the walls of a plastic sun, and when we pray we feel what we love. I know it's so tough and it protects us, so please give it to me.
Freddie Woodman.
Steady Freddie, Golden Glove winner. Did he beat Roger Freestone's clean sheet record?
I want to say he did, but I'm not 100% certain. He was very
Seems
close
like the kind of thing we should have
it
researched.
was it De Vries got the clean sheet record? No, it was 20.
I thought it was Freestone had it in the 98,
The Hollins season, John Hollins.
Well, we'll ask him in a couple of weeks when we get him on.
I'm not sure. I know he was on course to beat the record for clean sheets, but also beat the lowest goals conceded. Now we started conceding some, so I don't think we'd have got that. But I don't know whether he's got the Golden Glove as well as our record.
We'll Google that one.
Yeah, we'll find that out. But despite whether he did or didn't, he's obviously got a Golden Glove, but he still splits opinion.
He does, definitely, for me.
But he's had a split season.
Yeah. It always baffles me to a degree though that he splits opinion so much, because I think it went so long ago we were arguing over fucking Mulder and
I liked Erwin Mulder. I liked him.
Who was it when we came down? Erwin Mulder and
Nordfeldt.
There we are. See, it's so poor I'd literally forgotten.
Christopher Nordfeldt actually he's an absolute gent, and his spoken English is impeccable.
Oh, I don't doubt it. But we were crying out for a goalkeeper like Freddie Woodman, and then we had him, instantly talked to him. Yeah. And then it seems like then we were all just waiting to just pick little faults with his performance.
I like Woodman. doesn't always inspire me with confidence he's going to make some saves, and he tends to some reason he seems to dive about 5 seconds after a shot has hit sometimes. I don't quite understand it, but I think a lot of Woodman's problems is a bit of short memory. So I look back at the season we went up and De Vries. Do I think he's as good, if not better, keeper than De Vries? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I agree.
But I think then we go up and we have Michel Vorm and Lucas Fabianski.
Yeah. We were spoiled really, weren't we?
Sets the standard.
And don't get me wrong, like, I understand the criticism. I don't really disagree with much of what people say about him. You know, but I always come back to, what do you expect? We're a championship club that are reliant on. We're never going to sign what you would call a finished article.
Yeah,
there's always going to be flaws in our players' games. So
that's where I try to bring myself back. When I do get these frustrations, then I try to remember
that Bender had a massive injury. Because he really was flying at Swindon.
Yeah.
And if we don't go up, there's our number one next year. I don't think Woodman will be back because. Not that he wouldn't want to.
I like Woodman, like you said.
Newcastle were clever before they loaned him out to us. They tied him to a new deal, which gives them, you know,
they've got all the cards.
They hold the cards in any transfer.
I like Woodman, but the thing is, boys, he's not the shot stopper that got him the Golden Glove for me. It was the defensive back five at the back. That's what got him that Golden Glove for me.
But any goalkeeper who's ever won a Golden Glove will have had that.
I know that, but I just don't want fans to think Freddie Woodman is our best keeper.
Oh no!
You know, just because he's won a Golden Glove and not looking at why he's won it.
The point that's kind of on the similar lines that I'm on as well. I like Woodman. I try to
I do
because I don't feel that's fair.
I'd love him to stay. I would.
Fantastic. He's one of the better keepers in the league.
Yes.
But we have conceded so little goals, but we've also scored so little. Now, if we were more progressive, more entertaining and more adventurous how we play, do I think we get as many clean sheets?
And we bought another goalkeeper. We bought another goalkeeper from Huddersfield.
Ben Hamer, backup. But going back to Clarkie's point about the back four and stuff, I agree. But that back four will tell you he's a part of that.
No, 100%.
You know, if you put a back four in front of a shit keeper that's known to make mistakes, they're a bag of nerves straight away. There's mistakes coming from them as well. So especially if you're playing in front of a vocal goalkeeper who's organising and cajoling and keep, I think he deserves the credit.
For me, Freddie Woodman,
he's played really well.
If it's down low and it's near the post, he's not saving it. He's not one of those.
A lot of near post shots have gone past him.
If it's mid-range, waist height, any side, I'm confident he'll save it. And possibly top corners.
It's quite strange because I kind of agree a lot of the points you make. There's a lot of shots I look at and think, you expect him to save that, but then he faces the penalty.
He pull out the worldie.
I know.
Every time he faces the penalty, it's not far off.
No.
I do think, because we mentioned the back four when they are part of it, and not that they probably give a fuck, but I do think a Golden Glove is a trophy that should be received by your back four as well. That should be a shared
thing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know how you fucking police it. Perhaps if you've made over 30 appearances in the season in that back four, then
it's a team effort. I do think.
Yeah, the defence don't get anything for it.
No, they don't.
I do think a lot of his clean sheets are a byproduct for how little we play going forward.
You've got Bolden Boot probably for,
They might turn around and tell you, mate, don't worry about that, we do see my fucking clean sheet bonus and my contract. I ain't bothered about that bit of plastic with the fucking glove on.
That's where they get it from,
So
he's a good keeper, but I'll be sad to lose him next year.
If we sort of quickly summarise, right, I think some of his shot stopping, as you said there, sort of the mid height and even up high, has been he's pulled off some absolute worldies this season. Some of his down low, alright, you could question the visibility on some of the shots coming through, but then there's some near post shots that should never get past the keeper that have gone past. But then so distribution, that's a weak point.
That's another one.
At the start of the season, I noticed a massive improvement if you compare to last season. But then over the season, he sort of regressed a little bit in that department. But then, I don't know, he's still very much a development player, I think. Is he going to get better? Yes, I think he will. I think he will still get better as a keeper. I
think
guilty.
he'll reach the top. I do.
I've been guilty.
I really do.
I've been guilty at times of being too critical too quickly, and I have to take a step back and think, hang on, he's an academy player from another club.
Yeah.
Then I have the argument in my head. Then, well, we should be developing our own bloody players, not somebody else. But that's a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
But overall, I think he's been just what we needed at the right time.
Yeah. And I know it's an overly romanticised view, perhaps, but I love it when a player comes into the team and takes to the city,
buys into it,
takes to the crowd, takes to the fans.
It's passion.
Because you can trust then that player is at your club for the right reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Aside from their own development and their personal gain, they are there for the right reasons.
That's my biggest.
But that's not his fault, is it? You know what I mean? He's been loaned out. He's going to try his best now for Swans, but the way that he's taken that on board with the fans, and
it's a bonus for us, really.
That's all we want to see.
Become one of the.
Yeah, that's all we want to see.
One of us, one of the community.
What I like about loanee players when they come in, if I had to put it into this type of opinion on him, it's like he wants to stay, even though he's, his parent club is Newcastle. Any loanees that we've had, it looks like they want to stay at Swansea.
He would. He won't be foolish enough to realise that if we don't go up, we probably can't afford him.
Yeah.
And if you look at Newcastle as a football club, they seem to be at a crossroads in terms of the change of identity. Steve Bruce isn't going to be there much longer, is he?
It's the same every time you have someone on loan.
With an owner, you think now of the finances of Premier League clubs because of lockdown, because of COVID. How many of those clubs are going to look at their ways of working in the transfer market and thinking, right, that don't work for us. What have we got in our own academies?
Yeah.
And if Newcastle are going to take that approach, the first one they look to implement in their first team would be Freddie Woodman, you would imagine.
What do you reckon, Freddie Woodman? 10 million? 10, 15 million?
Yeah.
I think it much more than that.
He's English, so and that always adds a premium.
Yeah, certainly with that.
It always adds a premium. I don't know why, but it does.
If we go up, what do you think? Do you think he stays? Do you think he gets?
If you go up,
I think
crack
he stays.
on, go for him.
I think he stays. If we don't go up, it's not going to happen. But if we go up, I wouldn't be surprised to see the club.
The thing is with loan players, right? The parent club are loaning them out to obviously improve. Yeah. So when these players are playing so well, why would the parent club want to get rid of them?
But there's two reasons, isn't there?
Inflated
price. Yeah.
So you want to improve them, so either they come back to you and they play for you and you get your value that way, or you get a bigger price tag. And 2 years ago, Newcastle don't get 10 million for Freddie Woodman.
No.
2 years at Swansea, they haven't had to do much.
No, they haven't had to do anything.
But they've made.
Yeah. And on the very rare occasion, you'll have a club that's got two players out on loan in the same position.
Yeah.
One might be smashing it at Swansea, but the other might be smashing it at another Premier League team. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And no room at the end.
No, it gives them an option then to get rid of one or keep the other.
I haven't voted for Player of the Year yet, actually.
Have you?
Since you mentioned it, no.
Have you voted yet?
I voted, yeah.
3,
I
2,
voted.
1 you've gone for?
I double voted.
Where am I going to vote?
I got 2 email addresses.
Oh, that's fucking.
You vote the same person twice?
Yeah.
There's going to be an investigation into this.
I triple voted. I used Jem's email address.
I was going to vote from Charlie because he's technically a season ticket holder. So I vote for 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Connor Roberts.
Connor Roberts. Yeah.
I haven't voted yet,
but
I want to be really excited and say someone else, but I can't. It would be Connor Roberts.
So we're unanimous. If you remember last season, we were all split. We had 4 different answers. Whereas this season,
Connor
it's unanimous.
It is.
Has anyone seen his interview on Ellis James's Feast of Football? It's really, it's quite heartwarming. He basically said that, you know, when the Euros got delayed, he didn't play as well as he wanted to last year. And when the Euros got delayed, he said it was a bit of a blessing. He said, I knew I had to go again. He said, I knew with the challenge now at right back. He said, for me to even get in the squad, I had to play so much better. Yeah. And he said, I've thrown my heart and soul into the season.
You could see it.
And yeah, you know, he was saying, all I hope for is, I hope to get on that plane, and if I get on the plane, all I want to do is just one game, he said. One game in the Euros, say I represented my
brilliant
country.
Player, brilliant guy.
First name on the sheet.
100%.
Great in both halves of the pitch, and he can make a mean coffee table as well.
100%.
Yeah.
So,
brilliant.
And he's one of the things he's brilliant around the box, is in the attacking box. Yeah. He's fantastic. Look how many goals he scored.
Some big goals, tries to score some good goals. But it's just his hunger and his desire. But
fell off in a bit, didn't he? Going back a month or so ago, fell off in a bit, got dropped. But I mean, that's.
And the thing is,
we can forgive that over the course of a whole season and a long season.
The thing I like about him is he loves the Woodman. You know what I mean? He loves the Woodman.
But then,
do you follow his Woodwork account?
Yeah.
He's quite talented.
We'll have a K2 table or something mate, for a podcast.
Him and Woodman.
That'd be a great way to entrap him into an episode as well. Oh, Con, are you delivering the table? Yeah, just be me, no one else be here. Yeah, come in. We'll have the fucking whole set.
Lock the door. For me, his top moment of the season was the second fixture against Notts Forest. That header. Oh,
the fact it was a duplicate of the one away from
I know. I was going to say,
but it was just perfect. It was just when we needed it. And, you know, it had to be, you know, the local hero, that almighty leap, a header which he shouldn't really have won in a million years. No. And in the, probably any other time. And it was inspirational.
I know he's had a bit of a rest lately, he's had a couple of games off. But how hard and how heavy the season is, and up until that point, every minute, every game, up and down.
Why do you think he's rested him so much?
I think
because I still put him right back.
It seemed to have lost a bit of sharpness.
Yeah.
And
he played so much for Wales and
the other thing is, right, not just Steve Cooper, but anyone managing that team will know the characters of their players, and Steve Cooper will know the players he can drop that won't respond to it in the right way, and the players perhaps like Connor who you can drop knowing full well that he'll push the reset button himself and he'll be good to go. Do you know what I mean? When he comes back in, and what better time for him to come back in than the playoff campaign?
When you see the interviews with him, and you know he's spoken before about how much it would mean and how much it broke his heart when he was part of the side that came down.
I don't think he was on Ellis James, but I watched an interview with him when he was asked about our relegation and playing in that game. He started crying. His eyes started watering, and I'm emotionally invested in football. I always have been. Like I cried when Baggio missed the penalty. I'm a fucking ounce of Italian in me, do you know what I mean? But I just do it, you emotionally connect to it, and I loved seeing that in him. I thought, fucking hell. Yeah. Be no better. I mean, imagine him scoring the winner in the playoff final.
Oh God!
I mean, get the fucking cameras out to make him.
It would literally just be God status forever.
Think of the scene: Brentford, Swansea, playoff final, 29th of May, 90th minute. Conor Roberts up from right back, wins a header, scores up in front of Thomas Frank, gives it a thing.
Thomas Frank crying.
Easily our player of the year.
Easily.
Be a bit of a change next year because of VAR. What's your thoughts on potential VAR at the Liberty?
I'm massively in favour because it could be an equaliser. One of the things that we all used to drip about in the Prem was with us being one of the smaller clubs and refs have big club bias, and nothing ever went our way. At one point we went something like 18 months without a penalty in the Prem. And in that time it was like Man City and Man United had something like 17. And
so
18
off the box though.
that helps. But yeah, 18 months without a penalty and a lot of questionable goals. Like Aguero, he's known for being offside against us, and so for us, I think it could be an equaliser. If we were a much bigger club, and there's the old joke of Liverpool and stuff like that, then yeah, all right, you'd be a bit pissed off. But for us, I think it could benefit us.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not going anywhere.
No.
There's been far too much time and money invested in it. It's not going anywhere. The only chance you have of it improving is literally that. Is
just refine
experience
it.
of using it.
Yes, they'll just refine it over time.
Refining it, finding out what approaches to it work and what don't work.
And speeding it up.
And it's going to be there to stay. So.
People complain about it, people complain about its decisions. I don't personally have a problem with the decisions that get made. I think it highlights some of the flaws of the referees sometimes, but that's another discussion for another day. The decisions that get made now are better and fairer than what they've ever been, right? I've got no problem with that. My biggest problem, and the reason I don't like VAR, because I was pro VAR, but I just dread being there next year, celebrating the goal wildly potentially, and in the back of your mind I was thinking, I don't actually know if this is going to stand.
But do you know what?
You, as a fan, I live in those moments where it's the sheer euphoria, and we get out of the championship.
But I think football players, and credit to them, have set the stall out in that regard, whereby when VAR was coming, everyone thought, right, will they not stop celebrating? Nah, they fucking gone big with it. And big respect to all the players who've gone, given the middle finger to the away fans to watch a goal ruled out. Chilwell yesterday, fucking exactly how it should be. Don't wait for something to be ruled out. Enjoy the fucking moment on the assumption that it'll stand, because you won't get that moment back.
That's easier said than done, because
I know it is, but they've done it.
You know at the moment, you celebrate now as a fan, and you know that flag don't go up. You celebrate as wild as you like. You get your top off, you get your tits out, whatever you do, right? But ultimately,
you do.
No, I do, yeah. But those moments are probably the most important moments for me watching a game of football. It's that euphoria, that joy, that jumping on the person in front, whatever it is that you do when you celebrate a goal. And it's easy to say still go big, but when you know there's a doubt, I don't think it's as easy. And my fear is you dilute.
I'll be going big.
It's hard not to go.
Because the flip side, if you want to go glass half full with it and think of it a different way, for those goals that are allowed, you've got the initial euphoria of the goal, followed by the fucking secondary euphoria and relief of it being confirmed as a goal standing.
What I would say,
sorry,
yeah, it does play.
But no, there's another dimension to this as well. And if you look at the FA Cup final as a perfect example of this, Chelsea thought, yes, we got the equaliser, but then the Leicester fans have that euphoria then again. Yeah. It's like scoring a goal when it was ruled out.
It is, but that's not football for me. For me, it's not football. On a side note, it might do me a world of good, because next year my season ticket's not in the stand, because I switched for this season, just gone to the family stand to take my boy. So I'll have a 5 row me next year. So maybe me having a bit of doubt and not getting my shirt off might save me end up being on a register.
Yeah, you might be right.
I'd move seats as well for next season. Yeah, I've gone up a tier, a little bit more central. I wanted bang on the halfway line, but there was no chance.
That was my first season ticket.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
155 halfway line on the end. What a seat!
He's one of the Row U OGs.
That's where I wanted to go. Sort of literally just sort of halfway back in the upper tier on the halfway line, and then it's the perfect view of everything. Obviously, for obvious reasons, they were all booked up, so I think we're in the one next to the halfway.
Yeah. So other than me getting my C cups out, what have you missed most about the fans?
I think it's safe to say we've all missed it. I mean, to be honest, at the start, when coronavirus and being locked in the fucking house was a novelty, I wasn't finding myself missing it, to be honest. I was just glad the football was still going ahead in some sort of guise. But
I like it as well. We go down, we get down there nice and early, we meet up before the game, we all have a chat about what's pissing us off and what we're happy with and what do we think's going to, we all have a chat about it's that social side of it.
It's like a counselling session.
Yeah, and then after the game, then the walk back to the car, we're either in, we're either absolutely on cloud 9 or we're slagging everybody off.
Freeze no tips.
But I also like listening as well. When on those walks back to the car, as much as we listen to each other,
Yeah,
listening to
it's
everybody else.
Conversations.
Yeah, and then I listened to some people, and I could have just spent the last 5 minutes slagging someone off for being shit that game, and then there's a person as you walk by them, and they're going, "Oh, you had a brilliant game today," and I'm thinking, "Hey,
You
fucking
will get-
drugs or what?"
Out of 20,000 people, you will have 20,000 different fucking opinions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you do catch snippets of it on the way back.
I just find for me it's just how cathartic the whole experience is. From having a burger before the match, sitting down,
I knew you mentioned the
looking
fucking
forward to the game. No, you're 90 minutes of freezing your tits
You were
off.
doing Snickers.
But win, lose or draw, just you know, even the shit.
It ain't a Saturday night for me if I haven't got nuts in my mouth. But yeah, it's the whole thing.
The one thing I don't miss, because my old seat was East Lower 4, and when it pissed it down, I got drenched every single time. And now that we've moved seats, I don't have to worry about that so much.
Where are you now at?
Up there, so more towards the halfway line.
Right, yeah.
You want to be closer to us, Anthony.
We're great, man. We love our seat.
Missing his brothers, he was like.
Because at first I thought, up in the back,
I like it,
out of the way,
Yeah,
you know, not really on the halfway, so
can
we're
see
halfway
everything.
in between. But our seats, I love them.
When you're above the pitch like that as well, though,
Yeah.
like when you've got a
See
real,
everything.
well, you can see the quality better as
yeah.
well. Like when you get a real swerve on a ball, especially on like a long distance shot. Down at where I am where I was in East Lower 4, you're almost at pitch level. So when there's an absolute quality ball, you're not seeing it from the same angle, so it just looks like a very mediocre or average pass. But then when you're above it and you see it, it's almost like seeing it on TV. Then it's like, oh my god, that was an absolute.
I'm looking forward for me. This would be the first year now where my boy will have his ticket and he started getting into football a bit, and he's excited. You know, can't wait to watch the Swans. I hope he enjoys it. If he does, great. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Yeah. But I'd love for a couple of years, and I hope.
If he does, great. If he doesn't, it's all right because we've contacted an agency that deal with adoptions.
I hope my missus isn't listening to this. But if he does enjoy it, I'd love for 2-3 years on line to get a ticket in the corner of the stand, back of the atmosphere is.
Atmosphere was.
You'll never recreate the North Bank and the Vetch and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, but you know, in fairness to Liberty, there's days in the games where certainly we were on the rise as a club. Some of the atmospheres were great, and some of the games in there were so good to enjoy. And it just reminded me of my childhood. Do you know what I mean?
Being up high suits me in the back row because I'm more of I'm quite studious. I like to watch how things are developing, especially tactically. That's
you can
always,
see looking over the subs swarming up. And
always fascinating. Always like
yeah.
so. That's a bit of me, and I struggle to sit like pitch level where Aaron was. I've done it before because a lot of the fucking stuff you can't see through players' fucking legs. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I hated it because down at the other end, if the ball went in the goal, you didn't know, you couldn't see it, so you waited until the stand erupted, and then you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, brilliant, happy days." But you missed the goal, so that's why we were.
We were talking about food earlier, weren't you? They changed contracts, if I believe.
So got rid of Sodexo.
Yeah. So
what were they called?
Sodexo were the previous contractors.
Circle.
So does that mean the Jack Burger is no more?
Yeah,
Jack Burger's no more.
Have they gone to Circle?
I
no, they
are now.
It looks like they're sort of boosting local businesses.
It's in-house, so it may not surprise you that when the club done a questionnaire about food, I filled that in.
Did you?
Straight on there.
What a shocker.
Plenty of suggestions.
I might have actually done it as well.
You probably fill that in quicker than you reviewed your season and voted for player there.
I'm sure I did it as well.
I was straight in.
Did they ask about the Jack Burger in that?
I was just about to say Jack
I'm sure I slagged the tomatoes off.
I had the Jack Burger, it was shit.
I must have had a good
spoke
one.
about it in one of our podcasts.
I must have had a good one, it was alright.
No, it was cold.
A lot of local produce up there, looking into a lot of local produce, a lot of niche little local products, and companies for alcohol and stuff like that as well.
Why not? It's only food and drink, innit? It doesn't need to be anything special. It's
the thing is,
what we eat on a regular basis on a different day anyway.
At a football stadium as well, you pay a premium.
Yeah.
And you know it's heavily marked up, and I'm okay with that if it's boosting local businesses as well. You know that's great. You know, COVID's hit everybody, absolutely everybody, and if we have to pay that little bit extra to help the local community, then great, let's do it.
Yeah, great.
Like you're
thank you guys for taking the time to listen to us. I hope you enjoyed. A reminder that you can find some of our older episodes, or all of our older episodes, on YouTube, SoundCloud. Some have disappeared into the abyss, unfortunately. But stay tuned, we'll be back again, hopefully when we're Premier League.